This is Southern Cross News with Joe Palmer.
Good evening everyone and welcome to Southern Cross News. Tributes are flowing tonight for a 37-year-old Cygnet man who died while surfing at Blackman's Bay over the weekend. Vance Aventa is being remembered as a good man with a genuine and sensitive soul.
Laying a floral tribute, friends of the 37-year-old man who died yesterday at Blackman's Bay Beach, today paying their respects.
We were just yearning for a way to contact him one more time and say our farewells.
Ruth and Mitchell sharing memories of their friend, now confirmed as Cygnet man Vance Aventa, saying he was intelligent and kind.
And just generally playing music and having a really good time, so we're glad to have spent a very positive time with Jesse.
Jesse was surfing here yesterday morning when at about 8:15 onlookers noticed he was in danger about 100 metres from the shore. Two people went to his rescue but found him unconscious. Despite efforts to save his life, he couldn't be revived. Friends sharing these artworks created by Jesse, remembering him as a peaceful soul, someone talented who loved the arts and the environment.
Extremely gifted. He plays guitar like no one else I've ever seen. And
amazing artist, does beautiful paintings and he loves gardening.
Jesse's brother writing on social media that it was a tragic accident and describing his little brother as a good man with a genuine and sensitive soul. Other heartbroken friends sharing their condolences, saying he always managed to make them laugh and was a good bloke who will be sorely missed.
a huge heart and hugely generous person. He really believed in a better world.
The two people who tried to rescue Jesse were taken to the hospital with exhaustion and hypothermia, one passing on his gratitude for the professionalism and caring attitude of emergency workers and hospital staff. It's understood a tribute will soon be held at Jesse's Cygnet property, where he was setting up a home. Police are still investigating just how this incident unfolded here yesterday morning. A report will be prepared for the coroner.
He was just a really fun guy. He's like an uncle to Winslow. Yeah. We're going to miss him a lot, yeah.
Louise Hedger, Southern Cross News.
A 28-year-old Herdsman's Cove man has pleaded not guilty to attempted murder following an incident in Bridgewater last month. Police allege Ty Paul Silver shot 24-year-old Caleb Woods at close range with a sawn-off shotgun outside his grandmother's home on August the 19th. Mr Woods, a new father, sustained significant injuries in the alleged attack. Mr Silver was refused bail at Hobart's Magistrates Court today. As he was led from the dock, he told his supporters he loved them. He will face the Supreme Court in November. 22 Tasmanian businesses are preparing to show off their produce travelling to Asia this week. The trade mission hopes to expand our already booming export industry in the region, helping our companies to grow on an international scale.
Fresh off the production line, this Tasmanian business is looking to expand. Juicy Isle is one of 22 local organisations heading to Asia this week as part of a $200,000 government trade mission.
It's an excellent opportunity for us to further assess the market up in China and tailor our products specifically for the China consumer.
From food and drink to business and tourism, our Premier and Primary Industries Minister will join the cohort, showing off our produce and ideas to the world. The trip taking them to hubs like Hong Kong, Beijing and Kuala Lumpur.
Asia comprises 9 out of the top 10 countries for our export destinations, so it's really important we continue to have a presence in these countries.
There have been long-held talks about establishing direct flights from Tasmania to China as trade and tourism opportunities grow.
More investment will need to be done, but while that's occurring and the airport's being upgraded, we are continuing to work very closely with international carriers to secure direct routes.
Today, the Hobart Airport announced a much-needed $4.5 million upgrade to its departure lounge as tourist numbers continue to surge. The upgrade will deliver 170 new seats to the busy waiting area, as well as refurbished bars, cafes and amenities.
We had our highest record passenger numbers, so over 2.6 million passengers over the last year, which is fantastic. We'll see that to continue to grow.
Work will start in a few weeks and is set to be finished by December, while international flights are still a work in progress. Michelle Wisby, Southern Cross News.
Tas Networks say vandals who steal copper earth cable from power poles are putting their own safety at risk following a spate of thefts in Sheffield. The cables help return the electricity to the ground and can be a hazard when removed.
They are dealing very dangerously with our infrastructure, and it could cause damage to themselves and the public. At the end of the day, electricity is a very powerful thing, and it has got the capability of killing people.
The incidents caused outages to around 60 properties across the northwest yesterday. Anyone who sees a damaged power pole is urged to report it to Tas Networks. Police are trying to track down a man who they say robbed 2 Hobart Woolworths stores. Investigators say he stole items from the Argyle and Campbell Street stores yesterday evening and became aggressive towards staff. It's believed he fled the scene in a blue Hyundai Excel. Anyone with information should contact Crime Stoppers. Thousands of dollars is expected to be raised for muscular dystrophy as some of football's most exciting names lace up their boots for this year's Relive the Rivalry charity game. And for the first time, the mega stars will share the stage with one of the best players from the TSL Women's League.
It has some of the big names from football's yesteryear. Ackermanis at one end, Brendan Favola at the other. And for the first time, a local women's footy star will join the roll call of the league's legends.
Just got to be careful I don't get caught star watching, not ball watching.
Glenorchy captain Nietta Lynch will lace up for Relive the Rivalry's 7th instalment.
Just to be out there with some fellas that I used to watch in the 90s is going to be amazing.
The charity match takes inspiration from Tasmania's iconic State of Origin win in 1990 over the Big V.
Snapshot. Oh, don't tell me he's kicked that. Ha, what a goal!
Pitting the two states against each other once again on North Hobart Oval to raise money for Muscular Dystrophy Tasmania. Last year they raised $25,000.
Obviously it's a fantastic reason, and unfortunately a mate of mine's son suffers from it, so that's how the game started.
The famous map will be worn by the likes of Brad Green and Russell Robertson, while a curtain raiser will showcase the best of local women's footy.
We will have the best girls from the northern suburbs. It'll be Glenorchy, some girls from Claremont and New Norfolk, so that'll be fantastic.
The game will be held under lights on Friday the 5th of October. Tom Johnson, Southern Cross News.
Every 90 minutes, a child is sexually assaulted in Australia, a statistic that child protection organisation Bravehearts is trying to combat, launching a new guide today highlighting the importance of education to prevent child sexual assault. The free resource provides a number of key steps to help build resilience and protect children.
A friendly face delivering a serious message for National Child Protection Week. Bravehearts mascot Ditto the Lion visits schools to teach children how to stay safe.
And we like to make sure that we go to the schools more than once because the message that we bring, children will take it on board to begin with, but then the next year when we go, they take more of those messages on board.
The better we can equip children and families and communities to prevent there being a risk in the first place, that's the most important investment we can make.
Coordinator Jeanette says most schools can't afford to pay for programs like this, and with 1 in 5 children facing sexual harm before the age of 18, the education is needed.
They can't afford to pay for children's safety. We need to be able to present the program to them free of charge so that they can actually protect their children.
The organisation hopes parents keep the conversation going, launching a new handbook to provide guidance.
You need to encourage them to continue the conversation. Don't just say it once, continue the conversation so that children feel comfortable talking about if something's not right.
The organisation is supported by the government, with $800,000 over 4 years set aside to keep the program going.
There was an initial funding of $200,000 and an additional $600,000 over 3 years in the election commitments.
Judy Augustine, Southern Cross News.
For the past 30 years, the Beacon Foundation has helped thousands of vulnerable young Tasmanians find employment. To celebrate the important anniversary, the organisation is holding a major fundraiser and is encouraging office workers to get active.
Swapping a suit and tie for lycra, embarking on a friendly competition in the name of charity. The Tour de Office fundraiser challenges teams from Hobart businesses to ride as much as possible in half an hour, all money going back to the Beacon Foundation.
We've been a big advocate of the work that Beacon have done for a long time, so it's a bit of a no-brainer for us. It's a great cause.
The big thing is it doesn't matter how fit people are because they can spend different times on the bike, so they can really share it amongst their co-workers. So it'll be a lot of fun.
2018 marks 30 years of the National Foundation, formed in Tasmania to help young people find employment. Today, its CEO said it's getting harder for young people to enter the workforce, and something needs to change.
It's unacceptable that so many of our young people go out the school gate to nothing, so we all have a responsibility to really support them, ensure they can be the best they can be.
To help make the change from school to work a little easier, the foundation teaches transferable skills, provides work experience and helps with job-seeking tips.
So many of our young people are second and perhaps third generation unemployed, and we've got to do something at trying to address that.
Beacon is still on the lookout for riding teams. Businesses prepared to strap on a helmet can contact the foundation to get involved. Michelle Wisby, Southern Cross News.
North Launceston could be in for a hard luck story, with former Premiership player Tom Couch likely to return for the TSL Grand Final. Coach Taylor Whitford admits it'll be a hard chat to have with the player who misses out on a spot. After seeing North Launceston obliterate the league's second best side on the weekend, it's scary to think of yet another danger man joining the ranks. Enter Tom Couch, last year's Premiership coach who has played sporadically for the side this season.
There's always going to be hard luck stories, and within a grand final there's always going to be people missing out.
Couch will be training at UTAS Stadium leading up to the grand final. The midfielder would add another layer to a seemingly bulletproof side.
I mean, it's a quality player, and any time you have a quality player, he's going to come back in and make a difference.
The Northern Bombers slammed 8 goals to none in the first term on the weekend to book their 5th grand final appearance in a row. Players will travel to Blunston Arena as spectators this week for the Lauderdale-Glenorchy prelim. Their eyes will be on an unlikely suspect, Ed Stanley, who kicked 7 goals against Launceston after missing the past 2 games.
Makes Monday and Tuesday a little bit easier, but another big game this week, so doesn't really count for much now. Got to go out there and do it again this week.
It's his biggest haul at senior level. A Lauderdale win would set up a rematch of last year's decider and a chance for Lauderdale to even the ledger.
We're not trying to get too caught up in where we're at. We know we've got a lot of work to go, hopefully another 8 quarters to go for the year, which is the plan, but yeah, reasonably happy with the way we played, especially against such a good opposition.
Glenorchy will be without Zach Webster, who has been rubbed out for at least 1 match after striking Ryan Mansell in the head. Damage to the wing of Alex Peroni's vehicle has robbed the Tasmanian of a podium finish in the Formula Renault. In teeming rain in race 2 in Hungary, Peroni jumped from 9th on the grid into 3rd place on the opening lap.
Alex Peroni trying to go around the outside here, and he might just do it. Alex, I think, has done it on the exit to turn 1 to go to 4th place, the orange and blue car. Yes, he has, so good move. He might be 3rd in a second as well.
Peroni held his spot until deep in the race, but the damaged wing made his vehicle more difficult to control. The 18-year-old eventually finished 5th behind the safety car after rival Thomas Neubauer spun out and crashed into the barrier. Peroni remains in 8th on the championship standings, with 6 races left in the season. Hobart's Jack Welsh will make his debut for Australia's Kookaburras team for 2 tests against Argentina and at the upcoming Darwin International Hockey Open. The skilled 20-year-old joins fellow Tasmanians Eddie Ockenden and Josh Belts in the squad. Welsh's call-up comes after a solid performance at the National Under-21s Championship.
Good evening. 14 degrees today for Hobart. Launceston had the state's top temperature with 15 and 13 in Burnie and Devonport. 15 also for Smithton, 14 degrees for St Helens, Bushy Park and Campania, 13 on the Bass Strait Islands, Strawn, Cressy Grove and Ouse also a top of 13. Patchy low cloud visible on the charts over most of Tasmania today. That trend continuing over Victoria, New South Wales and southern Queensland. A low to mid-level band approaching WA, the remainder mostly cloud-free. Tomorrow, a high east of the state extends a ridge into all states except WA. A strong cold front moves through southwestern WA. Northeast to northwesterly winds 5 to 15 knots, increasing to 10 to 20 in the afternoon and the evening. Seas below 2 metres, with northerly winds for the Central Lakes 10 to 15 knots early on. And there's a road weather alert for icy conditions for Tasmanian roads tomorrow morning. Cloudy for Hobart, 16 degrees, 13 for Adventure Bay, 12 at Tarraleah, 16 also in Launceston, 14 for Devonport and Bridport. Showers for Burnie, 13 degrees, 15 at Strawn, 14 for Marrawar, with a few clouds through the east coast, 16 degrees in St Helens, Swansea and Whitemark. Showers continuing for northern and central districts on Wednesday, pretty fine elsewhere. Rain for the north and the west on Thursday, extending statewide a little later on, with showers about the north, the west and the far south on Friday, but pretty fine elsewhere. Around Australia, 19 degrees in Perth and Adelaide tomorrow, 18 and sunny for Melbourne, 14 for Canberra, showers and 17 in Sydney, 20 the top for Brisbane. At the moment it's 9 degrees in Hobart, a few clouds, about 8 in Launceston and Devonport. Jo, that's all from me.
Lovely. Thanks so much for that, Sam. Well, that's all from the team. Have a great evening. We'll see you a bit later. Bye-bye.